Hello, my garden friends. You see what I'm doing? Or would you like to guess? I've decided I'm going to try to make a new worm bin. I happen to be out getting some, I don't think that guy's alive, but anyway, I was out doing some gardening and I found a few worms in my soil. And then all of a sudden I started finding more and more, and they look like little babies. And I'm going to pull back here a little bit so you can see, and you can see. And so I started pulling them out of the pot that I was doing, and I thought, gee, I wonder what it would take to make a worm bin out of things that I should have all for free. I should have here at the house. So I went back and I watched. I have a friend, his name is Patrick, and his channel is called Vermiculture-Learning by Doing. And he just started it. He's got under 100 subscribers, but he's a young guy and he's very good. And he went to his local university extension agency, and they were having a class on how to make a worm bin. And so I went through and I watched it, and I thought, gee, that doesn't really seem that hard to do. So what the heck? I found the worms. Instead of putting them just back in my soil, I thought, let me just try to do it myself. So here's my shot at it, and I will take you along for this ride and tell you in a month or so if they're even still alive. I have no idea. For those of you who do follow me, you know that I have red wigglers. It's a type of worm that is a composting worm, and it strictly eats vegetables and fruits, coffee grounds. If you put it in the soil, there wouldn't be enough for it to eat to survive, so they would die. Whereas an earthworm can survive in the soil and eats, they don't have teeth, but they do eat what's in the soil. So I wanted to see if I could create what Patrick had created, and that was he put down just a little shredded paper, and then he also put down a couple pieces of fruit, and this happens to be broccoli stems that I put through my NutriBullet and made kind of a slushy out of it. And I'm only just going to give them a little bit because I've only got about 30 or 40 tiny little worms, and we'll just see how they do. And I'll put in a couple strawberry tops, and I was going to put in coffee grounds, but I thought, I have these filters that already still have the coffee grounds on them, so I don't want to overload them and shock them into anything. But anyway, the way this was made was you take a little tiny container. This is a really small one. I don't know if it's going to be too small, and I won't have success with it, but I'll try it. And I drilled some holes on each side, and then I had some from our lanai, our porch. We had some screen left, and so I took the screen and put it over, and some tape, and put this on top so that they have air coming in, flowing through. But I didn't do it in the bottom because I'm going to be adding some moisture, and I don't want them to, I don't want it to leak out and anything like that. So now I'm going to try and add these worms to it. Did I get everybody? Lo and behold, I did. And let's see if I can get the guys who were really... Yep, I think I got all those. Let's see if we can turn those over. Last few, yep. I think I got a few. What I did is when I caught them, you know, they were running down the street. No, when I found them in my soil, I just put them to the side, and then I had some actual castings from my red wigglers, and I put those in. And then also, let's see, what else did I add? Oh yes, this is shredded cardboard, and I have it with some, I have it in rainwater. So you really want to make sure that you don't give your worms tap water that would have any kind of, you know, bleach in it. And they're so tiny here. Let me see if I can find a few for you. Come on, little guys, perk up here. I saw a little one moving about. There you go. There you can see him. He still looks like he's alive, doesn't he? Good. Good shot. Good shot. And then what I'm going to do here is, I think they have enough. There's probably, like I said, 30, 40. They're so tiny, there could be 50 in there, and I was just kind of sifting them out. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this nice piece of coffee filter, and I'm going to lay that over them, and that will give them kind of a protection. There we go. One way and one the other. Make them a little cozy in there. And it'll also keep them dark. Worms are really, you know, you ever notice whenever you take a worm out from the soil, they wiggle and carry on, and it's more because you're exposing them to the light. So that's basically going to be about it. I'm not going to add anything. You know, I have a lot here, but I'm not going to add all that. That would just that will end up rotting. You know, it'll become anaerobic. So what I'm going to do now that I've gotten that is I can put this lid on it. But what I'm actually going to do is put maybe a couple holes in here, and do the same idea, is to take just a small piece of screen. You know, I'll just cut a small piece of screen, and so that I can tape it over the hole so that they don't get out, but so that I still have air going through to them. So anyway, that was it. This is the end of August, and I think it's kind of, I love starting new projects, and I think it seems like so much fun. And again, what a great project to get the kids in on. I'm sure before it gets too cold outside for you folks up north, that you've still got lots of worms in your soil if you're gardening. I guess even if you had to go out and buy a few, you could, but I mean, it's not a real big project, and what a great way of teaching the kids how to go through this. I just realized one thing that I did forget to add, and that was eggshells. And I do have eggshells in the house, and I'm so sorry I forgot to bring those out to do this project out here. But what I will do is I will lift this back, and I will sprinkle some eggshells, maybe just, you know, a tablespoon of eggshells on top. And I'll cover back over, and that will provide the grit for them to work their magic. And worms don't have teeth, but they act almost like they kind of like cup, and they will cup the food and the grit and take that into their intestines, take that down their intestinal tract, and it will be digested and turned into some beautiful worm castings. So that's all I have for you today, and I hope to come back next month and show you that I've been able to achieve something. So garden what you've got. I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you like this, and ring the bell, please, and I can come back and see you again. Take care now. Bye-bye.